quicker response. Not only is direct mail quicker to prepare, but response time to direct mail is usually quicker as well. You can project the final results of a mailing quickly and accurately. You can build an advertising campaign with more confidence by testing small lists than building to larger lists. Definition of small and large here, again, because of the market we're in, we are frequently dealing with smaller mailings. What I often want people to understand when they think of doing a test mailing, generally what is accepted is if you are talking about test mailings and large-scale mass mailings, the minimum size test mailing to get a statistically valid and repeatable response result is 5,000. So understand, if we're doing mailings of 500 or 1,000, 2,000, whatever, most response results from those are what we would call anecdotal, because the list is too small to have enough mass representation to generate what we would call a repeatable result. Direct mail can be highly targeted. So using carefully developed lists, you can target your mailings more selectively than you can with most other media. You can reach almost any market segment, buyer profile, or specific geography in your market area you feel will be the most responsive to your offer. Partly because of the longevity and long track record of direct mail, a lot of the information you can get to really refine a mailing list is, very well developed and understood. And some of those things can now be applied to email campaigns as well, but in terms of direct mail, where you really want to target and make sure you're sending, a well-developed offer to a very qualified prospect. One of the things we say is that in direct mail, the really important aspects are your list, your offer, and the presentation. So that, you can have a great offer, but if you don't send it to the right audience, they're not going to respond. And you can have a really great list that has responsive people. But if the offer is weak, the response is not going to be good. And even if the offer is good, but it isn't well explained and well sold, then that is also going to affect results. It's really a triangle of those key factors. And so often, when we're looking at things, that's the first thing I talk to people about is, are we sure we are mailing to the right people? Is a good offer. And by a good offer, I mean, when you're selling by direct mail, you're trying to get people to make an order, to respond, to call, whatever your action might be. Well, it needs to be a compelling offer. What I like to say is my job in direct mail is to get the person off the couch, out the door, in the car, and across your threshold. After that, I'm done. Okay? But to overcome that inertia and inspire that action, you have to have a compelling offer. And 10% off isn't going to do it. And it's really a matter of, understanding your business, your product, what people typically respond to, and making sure that offer is compelling. But then that offer has to be presented in very effective, powerful, understandable terms. So all of those things work together, yes.
A couple of examples of what you would consider a compelling offer?
Yes. I guess one of my favorite examples is an introduction I did some years ago for a healthcare center that involved alternative methods and things. And in looking, the client came in, they had a letter where it was like a, dear neighbor, we're opening this, and we're going to offer this, and they kind of enumerated all the things they were going to offer and how great it was, and come by and see us. And in working with them, I said, medical care is very personal. Health care is very personal. There's a lot of trust involved. People want to be comfortable. They want to know who they're dealing with. And they're not just going to make an appointment to go see somebody that they got something in the mail from and just heard about, and possibly commit to, spending the money and going through that whole process. So what I suggested was, we explain what you offer, but then we say, we're offering tours of our facility and the opportunity to come and meet our practitioners and find out more about us. And people needed to call to make a reservation to have the tour. Well, that was the only project I ever did for them, because they were giving tours for 3 months as a result of that letter. And they got booked out. And it was a matter of understanding, okay, what is the compelling offer? Think about the psychology of what we're offering, what people are looking for, what their resistance points or questions or issues might be about looking into that offer, and then address that. So it's really a matter of like looking at that whole thing and the dynamics, because I think the dynamics of direct mail are kind of unique because of, you know, when somebody's looking at it, how they're looking at it. And, you know, you really need to take these things into consideration. There's a factor here of what we call less competition. Your advertising message does not have to compete with other advertising messages, and your competitors are less apt to know your current strategy. Because, it's time to wrap up, okay. What I'd like to do, there are a couple of more things here you can look at, but on our last page, we just have something I often suggest and do for people, what I call a bullet message. It's about getting the envelope open. Because a very important thing about direct mail, when somebody gets a piece of direct mail, you have a 5 to 12 second decision window when they look at it. Am I going to open this? Am I going to read it? Does it engage me? They look at who is it from, what is it about. If it's an existing customer list, they know who you are, you have a relationship, presumably they're going to take a look at it. But if they don't, you need to get that envelope open. And what we often do is I try to take the most salient, most critical point of engaging somebody and get their interest and put it right on the envelope or on the address panel. So when somebody's looking at it, they get the mail, who is this from? You have a chance, out of curiosity, if they see something, they'll scan it over. And if you can connect with them with that and identify a common interest or a benefit to them, then you increase the chances of engaging them and getting them to look at your message to a much higher degree. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And